As we have been warning you again and again and again, Joe Biden is playing Russian roulette with the safety and the security of you and your family. For more than 3 long years, this program and others on this channel, they have been sounding the alarm. The media mob, state-run media, they have been complicit. They have been lying to you. The world's most dangerous terrorists, they're coming across Joe Biden's wide-open southern border, and terror cells are now already right here inside of your country, plotting and planning and scheming attacks against all of us. The FBI director, well, he's issued multiple dire warnings on Capitol Hill that have fallen on deaf ears at the White House. He should have gone a lot further and forced Joe Biden to enforce the law. We'll get to that. And now the threat that is posed by terror has not been this high since 9/11/01, and you are not safe. Joe Biden has created what is a clear and present national security danger for our country, and neither his attorney general nor his FBI director have demanded, as they should, that he start enforcing our nation's laws and not aid and abet in the law breaking. They, too, bear responsibility for what is coming. It is no longer if an attack is coming, it is when an attack is coming. Now, said this before, I'll say it again. I pray to God in heaven that I am wrong, but I have eyes to see I'm not wrong. Last year, the New York Times, they actually fact-checked this warning and pretended that it was false. They said terrorists are not coming across our border. Have they vetted the 11 million people? No, they haven't. And that we have nothing to worry about. But as per usual, the New York Times, they were wrong. They were lying to you. Watch, they'll probably get another phony Pulitzer Prize over their lying. Now take a look at your screen. 8, Joe Biden, unvetted illegal immigrants from Tajikistan with suspected ties to ISIS. They were just apprehended in a multi-city operation. At least 2 of the accused terrorists have been operating inside of our country for more than a year. According to FoxNews.com, all of these suspected terrorists were, quote, fully vetted at the border before Biden released them into the country. Fully vetted? Really? Another lie like what? The 3-year lie that the border is secure and the border is closed that we heard over and over again? And by the way, breaking moments ago from our very own Bill Maloogian, a bombshell new report from the Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General. It found that illegal immigrants have not been effectively screened at the southern border. Let me quote from the Inspector General directly, shall I? Quote, DHS will remain at risk of admitting dangerous persons into the country or enabling asylum seekers who may pose significant threats to public safety and national security to continue to reside in the United States. Well, we're talking about well over 10 million unvetted Joe Biden illegal immigrants pouring into the country in just a little over 3 years, along with another million or so, it's anybody's guess, gotaways that were never apprehended. Obviously, there's no serious vetting. There never has been any serious vetting going on. And keep in mind, most special interest, high-risk illegal immigrants come from countries that do not cooperate with the United States. You know, our top geopolitical foes that hate us. You know, think about this. The countries that hate us, they're not helping us vet their terrorists, their criminals, their spies. Many of these illegal immigrants, they don't even have documents when they cross, making it impossible to even know who they really are. And Joe Biden is letting all of them into the country, forcing you to pay for their food and their housing and their transportation, their health care, their medicine, and, of course, if they have children, free education to their kids. According to a report, more than 30,000 Chinese nationals, 30,000, our number one geopolitical foe, have crossed the border just since October this fiscal year. That's on top of the 26,000 that came the year before. The most recent official numbers show that in just 2 years, more than 12,000 Russians poured across the border, along with nearly, 1,000 illegal immigrants from Iran, and more than 500 from Syria, over 3,000 from Egypt, over 6,000 from Afghanistan. Then we have people from Yemen and Venezuela, Kazakhstan, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Thanks to your president, there has been unfettered, illegal immigration from every single terrorist hotspot on the globe. And in case anybody forgot, terror groups like ISIS, they want as many dead Americans as possible. Remember what their motto is. Joe, did you forget? Convert or die. ISIS has already carried out dozens of large-scale terror attacks all over the world for the last decade. And since Biden has now opened up our borders, well, some of these suspected terrorists have been living in a neighborhood right near you. What are they doing? They're plotting, organizing, waiting to strike. Dozens and dozens of illegal immigrants are even using Logan Airport in Boston as a makeshift shelter with more than 100 sleeping on the floor. Do we even know who they really are? No, we don't. But nobody on the left seems to care. They've just lied to us. No, the border's secure. Don't believe your own eyes. The border's closed. Joe Biden's executive order, this election year conversion was a joke. It did absolutely nothing. There has been no impact at the border. The border czar, Kamala Harris, another joke, refuses to lift a finger to address the crisis. She refuses to even go to a single border hotspot. She doesn't want to go down to the border and do her job. Democrats on Capitol Hill, they just want to speed up the process for illegal immigrants with more judges, more bureaucrats. And by the way, the mob and the media, they're just more than happy to put their heads in the sand and lie as per usual. The only thing they care about is hoping that Donald Trump doesn't win and Joe Biden does. And by the way, remember the New York Times fact check that we mentioned at the top? Yeah, the Times falsely reported that terrorists were not coming across the border. According to Bill Maloogian, as of this morning, the New York Times, they didn't make a single mention of the suspected ISIS terrorists who were apprehended, even though some of the arrests took place in New York, where the New York Times resides. So what's it going to take for the left in this country to wake up? Sadly, it is clear that the worst is yet to come. Again, I will say it over and over. I pray to God I'm wrong. But thanks to the Biden administration, it appears that a future terrorist attack inside of your country is all but certain. Blood will be on his hands and all the other liars along with him. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.